Hey guys, John V here from PhoneArena. Right now you're watching our in-depth video review of the Withings Pulse. It's an activity fitness tracker. It's available right now for $100 and similar to what you find with Fitbit and a Nike FuelBand. So basically it tracks things like movement, the steps you've taken, elevation, calories burned, and even things like pulse, something you don't really find with some of the other comparable products out there. So if you love tracking your daily lifestyle, you might want to take a look at this guy. The design of the Withings Pulse is very interesting. It looks like a pedometer at heart, but there's just a lot more cool tech inside of it. First of all, let's look at the design. It is very compact. It's so tiny. You can see the size difference between this and, let's say, a smartphone. So it's easily something you could put in your backpack, your pocket, and doesn't take up much room, which is the wonderful thing. It's doused in this soft touch matte finish, which gives it a very clean appearance, and it's, like I said, super lightweight. You would barely notice this in your hand. Along the top edge, we have the Withings name, and right next to it, you have a recess button, which is used to actually cycle through all the modes and settings with it. Meanwhile, on the bottom edge, we just have the micro USB port to charge its internal battery. It seems like they don't use a strong enough glue to hold the casing together, just because when we charge the device itself with the micro USB cable, when you snap into place and let's say you're going to pull it off, you have this tendency to actually remove the entire casing from the body itself. In the rear, we have its green and red LED lights and optoelectric sensor, which allows us to actually measure our heart rate. No doubt one of the defining characteristics of the Pulse, it features an OLED screen, 128 by 32 pixels, and it's great for giving us specific information with our activities. So you could cycle through the thing, and of course you could actually, it's a touchscreen, so you could actually swipe left or right to get the details from previous days. Now it's good in terms of the visibility if you're under low lighting conditions, but if you're outdoors with the sun present, it does become washed out and very difficult to actually view. And the other accessory that comes with it is this wrist strap. Now this is meant to be used primarily for sleeping. You put it in there and from here it'll track how often you're actually moving about when you're sleeping. The whole front here has a mesh finish to it so you can still see the information on screen. And the wrist strap itself, it's a fabricy material. You could actually adjust the length. Even though we'd be inclined to use it for working out, we wouldn't say it's going to be the greatest thing just because it'll probably absorb some of the sweat as you're working out. As much as we love the Withings Pulse, there's only one fatal flaw that we find. It's with accuracy, it's sad to say. So it acts as a pedometer and measures the steps that we've taken throughout the day. One thing we find is that if you just wave the unit like this a few times, it actually records those movements as steps. So if you're using things like the wrist strap, it's particularly going to be a little bit of an inconsistent figure. So it's better off that you just use the clip and just put it on your belt or in your pocket. Now the second portion to the Withings Pulse is the accompanying application, which is available for Android and iOS. I'm going to show you what it looks like here in the iPhone. And basically it's the central hub where you get detailed information regarding your activities. So everything that you save into the Withings Pulse, you sync over via Bluetooth, and from here you can view all the pertinent details about it. The app breaks down to 4 different sections. The first one being the activity portion. Now this measures the amount of steps you've taken with the Withings Pulse. So it shows here in the graph daily on how many steps at what time. It doesn't show a month's period, but each day separately. So for example, it'll show you how many steps you've taken, the calories burned based on your height and also weight that you've inputted with the application. Your percentage goal, the goal is to do 10,000 steps each day. Distance covered, elevation, activity, and it even shows how often you're actually being a little bit more active than usual. Secondly, we have the heart rate section of the application. Now this one's a lot more of a manual process, not as automatic compared to some of the other things that the Withings Pulse tracks. Now the information it provides could be either useful or not so much. It depends on how often or how consistent you are when it comes to actually checking your heart rate. Of course, if you're doing it at the same time, let's say when you're resting right before you work out, it's a great tool. But if you're going to do it inconsistently, let's say after your workout, when you wake up, or even before you start working out, it might not be so great in terms of the information it provides. Next, we have the sleep portion. Now this is pretty interesting just because it gives us a great overview of our sleeping pattern. So with the app itself, it shows here in the bar graph how long it took us to fall asleep, the amount of time we're awake, how much light sleeping we're doing, or even the deep sleep. It gives us the total amount of time we're in bed, the minutes it took us to fall asleep, and of course it shows us also what the goal is. The goal is to do 8 hours, and it's great to see some patterns, how often you're waking up, or if there's a specific time in the night. It seems like you're consistently waking up, so it's pretty interesting the kind of information it does provide. And finally, the last section with the application is the weight portion. Now, this doesn't necessarily work in conjunction with the Withings Pulse, but rather it works with Withings' set of digital scales that are connected via mobile. So basically, you pair up your device to the digital scale, and from there, you could track things like your weight, your body mass index. If you're about losing a set target weight, it's great just so you can see on a line graph here how you're going from month to month. So for $100, you're getting a pretty good value out of the Withings Pulse. It has a very interesting design, it's compact, lightweight, and even features a touch screen. And on top of that, it tracks all the things you'd expect it to. So the amount of steps you've taken, distance covered, calories burned, elevation. But the cool thing is that Pulse, again, something we don't see with the rest of the devices out there in the market. The only thing we're concerned about is on the app side. It's great that it delivers some of those details for us, but it'd been better if it provided some recommendations on what we could do to actually get better or improve ourselves, or even set goals, stuff like that. Aside from that, if you're into tracking your lifestyle, what you do on a daily basis, you might want to think about the Withings Pulse, guys. So if you want to learn more about it, check out our website, PhoneArena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.